Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sharing with you 3 delicious Valentine's Day treat ideas that you can recreate for your family and your friends. And I'm super excited because this is also a collab with a bunch of other women here on YouTube. I'm gonna have the playlist link down below, as well as Home Sweet Stephanie's channel. She is the one hosting this, and I'm super excited. These are all gonna be really easy recipes, and you're gonna have so much fun watching all of these videos. And if you are new here, my name is Caitlin. I make lots of cleaning, organizational, cooking, and motherhood content on my channel. I would love to have you, so consider hitting that little red subscribe button. But without further ado, let's get into today's video. You are going to need 6 cups of Rice Krispies, a bag of marshmallows, some white almond bark, half a stick of butter, some red food coloring, and you'll also need a heart-shaped cookie cutter. You're going to start by adding your butter into a large saucepan and melting that all down. And then you'll also be adding in your full bag of marshmallows. I do really like to use the mini marshmallows. I find that they melt down a little bit easier and they aren't as likely to get burnt on the bottom. Once all of your marshmallows are melted down, you're going to be adding in a splash of vanilla, I'd say probably about a teaspoon. Mix that all together and then just add your Rice Krispies right into your pot. Once all of your Rice Krispies are fully combined, you're going to be dumping them onto a baking sheet. You can either line it with wax paper like I did, or you can just make sure it's really well greased, but then just press them out. One little thing that my mom used to always do growing up was she would take a little bit of oil and put it on the bottom of a glass, like a heavy base glass, and press it down that way, and this works like a charm. You can do this on really any kind of bar. I always do this and it works so much better than just trying to press it down with like your hands or a spatula, so I would definitely recommend trying that. Before cutting out my Rice Krispies, I did melt down the chocolate just to give it a little bit of time to cool, and then I put a couple drops of red food coloring just to give it a light pink color. You could add a little bit more if you wanted for more of a hot pink as well. And then you're just going to be using your favorite heart-shaped cookie cutter to cut out the Rice Krispies. I will say that I would recommend using a metal one over a plastic one for this, just because I feel like it'd be hard to cut through with the plastic in Rice Krispies. I was able to pick up a 3-pack of these at Walmart for just a couple of bucks this year, so you can definitely check there. And then you'll just be separating your hearts from the rest of your Rice Krispies, and don't let the rest of those Rice Krispies go to waste. You could honestly probably roll them up and try and make more hearts out of them. I did not. We just gobbled them up right away. And now it is time to start dipping all of our Rice Krispies in the almond bark. I will say you're going to want to make sure that they are fully cooled off or they're going to fall apart when you dip them. But then all you got to do is dip them and stick them on some wax paper for them to fully harden. And then I just use some melted white almond bark to drizzle right on top of the Rice Krispies. I feel like this really completed the look. You're going to need 9 cups of rice checks, some vanilla, half a stick of butter, half a cup of peanut butter, 1.5 cups of powdered sugar, some white baking chips, and some Valentine's M&Ms. You're going to start by taking your 1 cup of white chocolate baking chips and adding them into a microwave-safe bowl. You're also going to be adding in the half a cup of peanut butter and the half stick of butter. And then you're just going to microwave this for about a minute to start. You may need to do it a little bit longer depending on your microwave, just until it's all melted together. Once you have your chocolate and peanut butter mixture all melted and combined together, go ahead and just measure out 9 cups of your rice checks. And I just want to emphasize that these are the rice checks and not the corn checks. I feel like that would not make very good puppy chow. Then just throw that in the microwave for a minute to start, and then 30-second intervals after that until everything is fully melted and you can combine it all together. Make sure everything is really well coated. I like to use a spatula for this, but be careful not to break the cereal apart as much as you can. Obviously, some pieces are going to get broken, but you want to keep it as whole as possible. Next, we're going to be adding on the powdered sugar, and to do this, you want to put the puppy chow into a Ziploc bag. The recipe calls to put it into a 2-gallon Ziploc, but I did not have one, so I put it in 2 separate bags that were a gallon each. It's a little harder to do this, but most people don't have a 2-gallon Ziploc on hand, so I ended up just splitting the puppy chow in half and then putting half of the powdered sugar in each bag. You'll want to put in 3/4 cup into each bag, or 1.5 cups total if you're using a 2-gallon Ziploc, and then all you've got to do is shake it all up and make sure everything is completely coated in the powdered sugar. And because this puppy chow is for Valentine's Day, of course I had to add some pops of red and pink. So I just dumped half a bag of M&Ms in each one and shook it up to get everything nice and mixed together. This makes the perfect little snack or treat to send with your loved ones to school, daycare, work, or really anyone that you are wanting to give a little something to this Valentine's Day. Start off by preheating your oven to 350 degrees, and then we're going to be mixing all of our dry ingredients together. I have to say this is my most requested recipe from family and friends. It's super easy and it's the most delicious chocolate cupcakes you will ever find. So go ahead and add in 2 cups of sugar into your stand mixer. You could also use a regular hand mixer, but I always just use my KitchenAid. And then you'll also be doing 1 3/4 cups of flour. Next up is 3/4 cup of regular baking cocoa. And then you'll be adding in 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda and 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. You'll also need 1 teaspoon of salt, and then mix all of this together until it's completely combined. Now on to the wet ingredients. You're going to be adding in 2 eggs, 1 cup of milk, and you'll also need half a cup of oil. And last of all, add in 1 teaspoon of vanilla and then mix everything together really well. And then the last thing that you need to add is 1 cup of boiling water. I always just do mine in the microwave until it's boiling. I'm pretty sure that this is the key component of why these cupcakes are so moist. Yes, I know we all hate that word, but that is the word for it. They are so amazing. I promise you guys are going to love this recipe. This is a really thin recipe, so if you have a bowl that has a spout on it, I would recommend trying to use that to measure these out, and you're not going to want to overfill them. I would say you're going to fill them just over half full. This recipe rises a lot, so you don't need to feel the need to fill them so full. And then just pop them into the oven for about 15 minutes and keep an eye on them. Once your toothpick comes out completely clean, then they are done and you can move them over to a baking rack to cool. For the chocolate buttercream, you are going to need 2 cups of powdered sugar, a cup of chocolate chips, some vanilla, and 2 sticks of unsalted butter. Start by taking your 1 cup of chocolate chips and melting them in the microwave. I should say that these are semi-sweet chocolate chips. And then just set the chocolate aside to cool while you're mixing up the rest of the ingredients. You're going to be adding in your 2 sticks of unsalted butter into a stand mixer. I will say a stand mixer works really well for this recipe just because it requires a lot of mixing. And then you're going to be adding in your powdered sugar. So you're going to add this in 1 cup increments. You're going to do 2 cups total, 1 cup at a time. I'm pretty sure this is part of the reason why it gets so nice and fluffy by just doing a little bit at a time. Add in your vanilla extract, and then you're going to really whip this for a few minutes to get it nice and fluffy and thick. And then once it's nice and thick, you're going to be adding in your semi-sweet chocolate and again whipping it for a little bit longer. So that's why it's nice to use a stand mixer for this, or you're going to be standing there forever with a hand mixer. I always like to pipe my buttercream onto my cupcakes. I found this little gadget on Amazon probably about 6 months ago now. I've had it a while and I really like it. It's super simple to use, easy to clean, and super affordable. I think it was only $10 and I will link it for you down below from Amazon. If you try any of these recipes, it has to be this chocolate cupcake one. Seriously, it is so good. This is my husband's favorite. Seriously, everyone loves it. So if you like chocolate cupcakes, this is a recipe for you. And I did decide to just chop ours today with a couple slices of strawberry to make it a little bit more festive for Valentine's Day. Well, that is it for today's video. Go ahead and give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Hit subscribe, I would love to have you. And don't forget to go check out that playlist down below. I will have everyone else's Valentine's Day treat ideas. I know you're going to enjoy them. But that is it, you guys. I will see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.